It's always a good day when we get to see Mr. Grimm, even when it's here in Twisted Metal Small Brawl. It's a big event as we return to tournament mode for the halfway point of the game. And who better to celebrate it than my favorite character? It's pretty solid statistically. Top of the line in every way except armor. And his driver is a disturbed boy obsessed with Halloween. My favorite time of year. He wants to open a portal to Halloween Land. A mystical place where it's Halloween every day. So apparently he's seen The Nightmare Before Christmas a few too many times. But best of luck to him. It is truly a noble dream. We have to overcome Minigolf Mayhem in order to achieve it. Which is already a bit of a horror show. They started us off in Racism Village. And as much as I'd like to leave this part of the level and never come back, we do need to take a good look at the headhunters and explore what this little area has to offer. And there's a victim in an iron pot being cooked for cannibalism purposes. Fortunately, just a 2D cutout, but it's all 2D cutouts here. So worst of all is these spears are incredibly deadly. And if you fight the enemies in this little area, you can wrap up this level very, very quickly if you're a little bit lucky and the enemies happen to stand underneath the spears as they come down. Because they will sometimes get stuck in place and take constant, huge amounts of damage. You can kill anybody very rapidly. And if you just bump against the spears while they're descended, you'll still take a decent chunk of damage. So this is a very, very good place to do the majority of your combat, if you want to wrap things up quickly. We can also go golfing, but the golf ball is a little unpredictable. Typically when you shoot it or bump into it, it just nudges very slightly, but sometimes it gets all the momentum in the world and flies completely out of control all over the place. So I'm gonna leave it alone for now. Maybe come back to it when we need it. And now I'm all out of weapons. But we did get to see our special. A pair of pumpkins. And as is typical with Mr. Grimm specials, they do tremendous damage. We also got to see what happens when you successfully go golfing. Get the ball in the hole, win a prize. Any random pickup can spawn out of the golf hole. Fortunately, we only got batteries that time. Turbo batteries at that, not even health refill batteries. Health refills are actually pretty hard to come by. If the golfing were easier, then that might not be a problem. The golfing is very difficult. You actually have to land the ball exactly in the hole. And it bounces, it doesn't roll, it always bounces. So it can very easily bounce over the hole, even if you lighted your shot up absolutely perfectly. And there are only 2 static spawning locations for the health refills. Rough stuff. Fortunately, Mr. Grimm is excellent in this game. Both of the pumpkins that he fires do tremendous amounts of damage. He's extremely fast, very maneuverable, by far the most maneuverable character in the game. And this is an especially good level to have such high maneuverability and speed, because it is the most complicated and winding level in the whole game. The only one to really break free from the Twisted Metal 3 school of level design, where all the other ones are just a big square with maybe a few corridors or obstacles thrown in the way. Not here, an actual level with discrete locations that you can visit. The spider that descends from the spider web is another way to get the level to randomly spawn pickups. You just shoot it while it is descended, and something will drop out of that spider web. Unfortunately, just like the golf holes, it is very fiddly. Can be pretty difficult to land a hit on the spider as it is swinging like a pendulum. And after it has been hit, It'll return to its web for maybe about a minute, and then drop back down again. Here's a very easy golf hole. The ball is right next to the hole. There we go. Hole in one. You gotta have a very, very light touch there. Because if you knock it off of the pyramid, there's no way you're ever getting that ball back up to the pyramid. Each of the balls will respawn at their starting location, but only when they've been successfully deposited in any of the holes. So, you knock that one ball off the pyramid, that hole is pretty much gone to waste for the remainder of the level. That was a pretty good shot, if I do say so myself. Been having decent luck here with the golfing minigame. But that's probably enough night golfing for now. I have to imagine Calypso broke us in here after hours to hold this stage of the contest. Spider's ready to deliver some prize to us. And the Roman candle happens to be the perfect way to get it to pay off. Because it's not too great for much of anything else, that Roman candle. You just gotta jump and fire it at the exact moment that the spider is crossing by. I've had quite a bit of practice. Hammerhead also demonstrating one of the other interactables, while I find a tiny seam in the floor that I can barely navigate. There we go. The steam pipe of the crashed ship can allow you to be fired back up to the upper level. Mr. Grimm is fast enough that he can jump from the platform where the golf hole is back up to the upper level, but many of the other characters are not. So they do gotta rely on the steamship. This pit happens to be a really good place to do a lot of the combat. Much like the Icky Village, but less Icky Village. So, I'm gonna do my combat cleanup here. Get this level finished with. All the winding pathways around this level are nice to see for a change of pace, but they are horrible for combat purposes. Give me this open area that is very hard to escape from any day. Now, Thumper's about to die, and then there will be a horrible visual effect on screen. There it is. Bright green flames that cover the whole damn thing. Because Trapper has approached. This is our first boss of the game. There he is. And there's a reason they had us teleport. Much of the level has just been shut down and made inaccessible. We can still go to the village area, the volcano, and the pyramid with the hole at the top. And that is it. So, I hope we enjoyed those winding hallways while they lasted, because they are gone for good. That also means one of the best combat areas is gone, and one of the health refills is no longer accessible. So we are reliant on the couple of golf holes that are still available. In fact, only one of the golf holes has been cut off from us at this point. And the spider. Give us random drops if we need health. And we do need health. Because if we look at our vehicle, the Mr. Grimm action figure that is supposed to be piloting our motorcycle has been completely destroyed. So we are autonomous until we get some green batteries. And that's the only one we still have access to. Waiting for it to respawn is not going to be much of an option. But we did luck into a second one there. It's entirely possible that you could sink golf balls all day and get nothing. That maw used to open and close, now it's just stuck closed. We are trapped in here with Trapper, which I guess is not much of a surprise. But like most Twisted Metal bosses, he is very, very dangerous. We get in the same place as him, he can kill us very, very rapidly. But we cannot return the favor, he has a tremendous amount of HP. So, we have to do hit and run tactics. Other vehicles can stand and fight a little better, but we have Mr. Grimm. And we found one of his greatest weaknesses, which is, of course, an extremely aggressive high armor opponent with the monkeys from the Barrel of Monkeys game. Between this and the Easy Bake Oven reference earlier, this game was very clearly made by kids who grew up in the 80s. But I get those references, so I guess there's a little bit more appeal. I'm not even going to try to explain it to younger audiences. That would be futile. So we can shield ourselves, get in a fair amount of damage, but when you shield, the boss will often respond in kind. We haven't seen shields from anybody else, but there they go. We're going to see a lot of shields from Trapper. He doesn't only do it in response to when you shield yourself. Sometimes he does it when he would be in an abnormally vulnerable circumstance, making it very, very obnoxious, greatly dragging out this entire boss fight process. And in case we missed it, the environmental attack for the level is to make the volcano erupt with random fireballs that spray all over the place, and will probably miss everybody, even if they're in the vicinity of where the fireballs land, which is only around the base of the volcano itself. Now I'm clearly in a very bad situation. Even worse when you consider how the Barrel of Monkeys special works. It fires out a single large projectile, and when that large projectile hits either a target or a wall, it breaks into many, many small monkeys. And each of those will home in very, very strongly for a very long time. And those will also bounce around on walls, resulting in a possible incredible amount of damage you can take very quickly. Even high armor vehicles have a hard time dealing with Trapper. Mr. Grimm is actually uncommonly good at escaping from that special. If you really step on the gas and have plenty of turbo left, you can outrun the projectiles for long enough that they will expire, whereas many other vehicles actually do have to shield or they will be hit multiple times by the Barrel of Monkeys. But if I didn't shield there, I would obviously be very, very dead. And it will be a little bit of a while before the only available health refill comes back. And I knocked the golf ball off the top of the pyramid, so I won't be able to get that pick up anytime soon either. Let's try for hole number 1 instead. No. So, at this point, we just have to run laps. And wait for that to reappear. Lucky me. Health refills come back more often than they do in a lot of other Twisted Metal games. And Trapper is near death. Just need to dump the remainder of our weapons into him. Strategically use our shield. And take advantage of the fact that he's pretty much stuck in this narrow part of the volcano. He won't last much longer, but neither will we. Who will win first? Obviously us. Now, Halloween Town is ours.
Here you go, Grimm. The portal to Halloween Land. Yeah. But you might not want to go in.
Are you insane? Nice try.
Because you can never come back out.
Wow, that was actual evil sorcery from Calypso. No way Mr. Grimm could have seen that coming, but I'm sure he will grow to love his new home. I know I would. Anyway, let's play as Trapper. Probably inspired by the fact that you can play as Minion in Twisted Metal Black, you can also unlock and play as Trapper. And we're gonna do that now, even though his stats are terrible. The Mysterious Hunter has a devastating special monkey attack. Again, that makes no sense if you're unfamiliar with the concept of the Barrel of Monkeys game. But we'll make do here in Endurance mode. with the player-controlled version of Trapper, which is way worse than the boss version. We are no longer near indestructible, and our special is way less impressive. Power missiles, however, good as they've ever been, we are rather limited in our access to power missiles. So let's actually find an opponent and see how well we fare in direct combat. It's not going to go all that great. For the record, if we were to actually fall into that volcano, it would just do us a bit of damage, set us on fire, and then spit us out right next to the volcano. Some of the slower vehicles have a very hard time making that jump from one platform to the other, and thus should avoid going anywhere near that volcano in the first place. So here we go. We launch our special, we've got plenty of them to spare. Thing is, when we use it, it's virtually impossible to score more than one hit. Either the main projectile hits, and then the enemy just doesn't take any damage from the ensuing projectiles, or the main projectile doesn't hit, bounces off a wall or something, and then one of the other homing projectiles will hit an enemy and deal damage. So, your maximum damage with the special is not all that devastating, unless you have a ton of opponents to all absorb each of the projectiles. In endurance mode, it's always one-on-one, which is where Trapper fares most poorly. Collisions are pretty effective because we are very large, and thus have a lot of momentum. And right there, I spotted something. If we look through the wall, the golf ball for this area has bounced out of bounds. So, no more golf here. Just as well. At first I thought, wow, the developers of this game didn't even put up an invisible wall to prevent golf from becoming impossible, but then I realized it's a miniature golf course. It's very realistic to have the golf ball leave the golf course and just be gone forever. Anyone who's played Minigolf has had that very same experience, so maybe they were just preserving that. There goes another golf ball that I'll never get to use, so limiting my options here. And in direct one-on-one combat against Thumper, who is not all that dangerous, we got annihilated. I need to score 3 more kills. You may have noticed that every 10 kill breakpoint, you unlock a new bonus level. Under normal circumstances, it would be impossible to unlock Trapper without having unlocked every single bonus level first. Because Trapper requires you to beat the game on hard difficulty with every character in the game, including bonus characters. Which was also probably inspired by the way that Minion is unlocked in Twisted Metal Black. We do not yet have access to every single bonus character, and thus could not have conceivably unlocked Trapper at this point. Also, the act of doing so would be unbelievably difficult. This game is very frustrating, very boring in my opinion when you have to play too much of it. I like playing it in short bursts, but playing every single character to completion on hard mode is well beyond my patience threshold. So, I consider Trapper to be the most difficult unlockable character in the entire Twisted Metal franchise. There's an argument to be made for one other unlockable character in this very game, but that is a technicality that we will discuss later. As a result, I have not legitimately unlocked Trapper, but here he is, driving around on screen. What's going on? This is a PS1 emulator. I have been playing the game on a legitimate PS1 copy, emulated via the PS3 this entire time, but for this recording, and this recording alone, I did bust out the emulator and some Game Shark cheat codes. So, at the moment I have every character unlocked, including that character we just saw in front of us, who will be dead soon enough. We don't have to worry about them right now, but a little sneak preview. of one of the upcoming characters. For the record, Twisted Metal Small Brawl does feature the usual suite of cheat codes that you can input to make the game easier. Invincibility, unlimited ammo, killer weapons that basically makes weapons one-hit kill. But if you were to use any of those cheats and complete any task, your difficulty would be overridden, and you would instead get completion credit for having beaten that thing on cheater difficulty, which unlocks nothing. Even worse, if you have anything marked as a cheater difficulty completion, that overrides even hard mode difficulty. So if you save your game with cheater difficulty beaten on any character, you can never unlock Trapper on that save file. You gotta start from scratch at that point. All the more reason I will never legitimately unlock this character. And it's not worth it anyway. Frankly, I had a miserable time playing as Trapper. Mr. Grimm was way more fun, and I felt way easier to accomplish anything. So, not a good character, definitely not worth the trouble. Fortunately, we are very near his arduous task of getting 30 kills here in endurance mode. But, verge of death, so we can't risk losing it all now. Gotta play it safe. Make sure I get some health back. Our useless special did not land a single hit there. An outlaw is one of the most dangerous possible opponents, but not dangerous enough. Holiday Havoc has been unlocked, the third and final bonus level in this game. We'll check that out next time, back on the legitimate PS1 copy, which probably seems imperceptible to what we're seeing right now, but it matters to me. And really, going through 30 kills in endurance mode is excessive. If you're good enough at the game to even get like 5 kills, all you need to get the rest of them is patience. So I guess good thing we don't have to get any more. And we get to get some revenge against Trapper and see him annihilated once and for all. No more Trapper ever again in this game. Lucky us. Endurance mode will also label you a cheater and give you nothing if you use cheats to speed it up any. And it will give you no prizes if you try to beat it on easy difficulty. You gotta play on at least medium, or you get nothing. Trapper was never intended to have an ending of its own at any point in development, the way that Axel and Darkseid both were. And they didn't plan endings for any of the remaining secret characters either. But let's not forget about our man of the hour, Mr. Grimm, and his exciting new life in Halloween Land. May we all suffer the same fate, at least until next week when I will require your attention again, when we will get to check out a level set during a very different holiday.